through enduring hardships. The tears of pain I shed today will be the tears of joy I shed tomorrow. The brave never fall. We rise and maintain balance through freedom and connection. I'm Coach mjdtiger, life coach and mentor. Helping others find their passion, peace, and purpose in life brings me my passion, peace, and purpose in life. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Welcome to Vibes. The easy path is easy for a reason. It takes little effort to achieve. You can simply step over an anthill or bravely trek over a mountain. Which one do you believe will help you grow stronger? Overcoming adversity requires true effort. The path to true success is going to come with all the different avenues that come with challenges, resistance, something you truly can overcome. What do we gain by having anything or everything handed to us easily? The satisfaction from gaining something from true effort, from really overcoming things that we never thought we could overcome. Bravely, intentionally making the decision to face something that we do not believe we can overcome, and learning from that, gaining the experience by doing something that does make us uncomfortable, it may feel awkward, but these things are things that we have to face every single day anyway. So why not intentionally pick and choose the things that we want to overcome, to bring us the true success that we actually feel reflects upon us in a positive way for our lives personally and purposefully. And that is the whole point. We can gain experience through having life just come at us and just throw at us whatever experience that we want, and we learn from whatever it is that is thrown at us. We got to do that anyway. We have to add in some of those bits, a lot of those bits, most of those bits where we are in control and we are overcoming things that we want to overcome, so we can gain that experience in that area, this area, becoming a better person for us and our purpose. That gives us faith in our journey, hope in our journey. And when we can do that, that gives us the willingness to want to face anything, because we know the benefits of overcoming any challenge. And when that challenge is overcome, then and only then are we overcoming adversity. How are you feeling? How are you feeling mentally, within your mind? How are you feeling physically, within your body? How are you feeling emotionally, within your heart? How are you feeling spiritually, within your soul? These are questions I ask myself daily, morning, noon, and night. Before I head to bed for peaceful and powerful sleep, I ask myself, mind, body, heart, and soul, how am I feeling? It's a daily check-in that works every time for me to get me rebalanced every single time I need to when I'm feeling extremely unbalanced. So I ask you, in this moment, ask yourself, how are you feeling? Often we're shrouded in noise and sounds, all around us, surrounding us, burdened down with weighted pounds. What is lost can also be found. Why wait when the time is now? It takes sweat from the brow, hard work through focused effort. There's no room for ego or clout. Earn what you set your sights on. Life is about second chances, no easy outs. Our moments are what we build upon them. Make them count. Every opportunity leads to the next. The stronger we build upon that opportunity that's in front of us, the stronger, more fortified the next opportunity will be when we build upon that. It's all about ascending, getting better and better and better through focus, effort, through purpose. Pushing forward with forward momentum, purposefully with effort, we're overcoming anything, and every moment will count. Vibes, Episode 5, Cherishing All. I'm going to start this podcast off with the next part of our short story. Again, if you haven't been caught up with this series, I am adding in a self-written short story that I've written myself. And it starts in Episode 2 of Vibes. So if you want to know where we're at in this story, go there. But each story is contained. It will fit right into this one. But I recommend you go back so you can follow the story along, and it will conclude in Episode 12 of Vibes. But this is Story 5. Cherishing, Trust, and Second Chances. Everyone deserves second chances, Will. Will, holding the letter his mother had left behind for his father, could barely see the neatly written words on the page. Tears were dropping loudly onto the letter from his eyes, his chest hurting from the wounded heart within it. He simply could not believe what he had just read, but more importantly, he could not understand why. She's leaving us, Dad? His father, seated and looking at the chair in the living room where his beloved wife used to call her favorite place in the house, spoke with a fragile whisper. Yes, son. Yes. Why? Why would she just leave us like that? Will was about to rip the letter to pieces, but was stopped immediately by his father, who stood and snatched the letter from Will's hands, severing a small piece of one of the corners of the letter, which Will still held between his thumb and pointer finger. This isn't going to be about hatred and resentment, son, his father said, now with a bit more authority behind his words. She raised you, got you a good start into college. You had a great childhood. And as a young adult, you have a chance, a bright future. He sat back down in his chair, gently holding the letter. You'd have none of those things if it weren't for that woman. Don't you ever forget that. Ever, he said sternly, with clear pain laced within his tone. He continued, Lord knows you have had a much better life than I have ever had a chance of having. You should be grateful. I know it hurts, but she decided for herself that she needed to go and fulfill whatever she felt was needed in her life at this time. Unfortunately, she didn't see us in that need. Will lowered his head. He just didn't understand and wasn't sure he ever could. Life is not about just holding on to good memories and what you want now, son, his father said sadly, almost as if he regretted to have this conversation with him at all, but knowing it was absolutely necessary. We have to cherish those memories and all that we have, because we never know when we'll lose them. His father, strong and stoic, stood up and hugged his son strongly as they both shed tears for the woman they both loved and would surely miss. Have faith, his father said. I believe we'll see her again. I don't know when, where, or how, but we will see her again. Until that day, we will wish her well. Pray for her to be safe, wherever she is. Will could not hold back his tears, yet he felt the positive energy from his father, who was grieving, but was focusing on what's to come, not what has been. He knew his father was right. Cherishing his mother and what he still had in his life was all that mattered in that moment. It would take Will time to have faith like his father, that he would see his mother again. The very thought of time in that moment had little significance. It was as if time had stopped completely. As long as he still had his father and his beloved friend Autumn, he knew he would not be alone, and that was something special for him to cherish. Piecing this story together is something that I truly believe once the whole story is together, and I will end up putting out a whole video on it. It'll have its own story podcast style to it, where I'll go through the whole thing and you can listen to the story completely. These are moments that I have had to live through in my life with certain people, places, and things. And cherishing what we have, especially the things that we know if they were gone suddenly, they would change our lives forever in some way, positively, negatively, or maybe even not at all. That is still change. Even the part of it that doesn't seem like it changes you, something that happens to you, whether you like it or not, it's going to have an effect. It's going to change you because it's something that has happened to you. And that is one of the hardest parts about getting through each day, let alone a whole lifetime. It's all those aspects that we can't control, things that we know that are happening to us, that affect us, that we have no control over. And those are the things that scares us. When we don't have control, we get scared. And there are tons of people out there. We are all a part of this one. There are certain things in our life, if we're not in control of it, we feel lost. It gives us anxiety, stress, can lead to all kinds of behavioral issues, disorders. If they're not checked and properly checked in the right amount of time before we bleed over into somebody else and cause someone else the trauma that we are not really dealing with ourselves, that is our responsibility. And that's the good thing about having that responsibility. It gives us the responsibility to have that banner of accountability, and ownership held above us. Accountability and ownership leads to that responsibility for ourselves, because we have a responsibility not to be something negative in someone else's life. We don't want to be that negative person in someone's life. We want to be that positive person in someone else's life. We want to encourage others. We want to inspire others. We want to be the muse for other people. We want to be that excitement, that joy for other people. And we have to first start doing that for ourselves. It always starts internal. That encouragement we give ourselves each and every day starts with the encouragement we give ourselves each and every day. And we have to cherish what we have, meaning our own lives. If we don't cherish our own lives, it's very hard for us to truly be able to step out and cherish everyone else. Now, we do it on a small level every single day. We have to put people's energy in front of ours. We may not be feeling so great, but someone else's energy may be super positive. I'm not trying to drag somebody down with my negative energy for that day because I'm not feeling myself. I'm like, no, I'm in a bad mood. So, hey, I don't have any time for you. I can't be, yeah, maybe we don't want to bring someone down, but why do you have to? I can't tell you how many times I've been having a bad day and I actually got cheered up by someone else having a positive day. It just bleeds over onto you. Those are the people that you want around you. There's nothing worse than having a bad day and you're surrounded by people who are also having a bad day. It's a bad day for everybody. Everybody's just throwing bad day poker chips on the table and everybody's just saying what they get out of the situation. It's nice to have that counterbalance, and you want to be that counterbalance for someone else when they're down and they're not feeling themselves and they're in the dumps and they're feeling negative. You want to be that positive light, that joy that comes up to them and says, hey, you had my back last time. What can I do for you this time? These are things that we do subconsciously. That's just default. That should be the goal. That's called reading the room. If I'm feeling down and someone I care about is feeling very positive and they have that energy, I'm not expecting them or demanding that they give me that energy, but it's nice to be around someone who says, you know, you don't have to ask. I can feel that you're down and I cherish you enough to not want to help you get back to this, but I am going to do it. It's not about wanting or trying. I am going to do whatever it takes with unconditional love for you because I cherish you to bring you back up because you have done that for me, and we will keep going back and forth and playing tennis with this because I cherish you and I want to communicate with you. I want to make sure everything's all right. These are relationship goals in every sense of the word, whatever type of relationship you can think of, from business to family to spouse. These are things where if you don't cherish that person or you don't cherish yourself, there is a disconnect. What is cherish? What is the whole reason behind it? The definition is protect and care for someone lovingly. Protect and care for someone lovingly. These are things we think about when, the most basic form of that is a parent with a child. You're going to protect and care for that child, and you're going to cherish that child. But, we cherish all types of things. We cherish any good thing in our life, from our house, our cars, to our pets, to our jobs, to our vacations, to our free time. These are all things that we cherish because they're things that come from the heart. They come from us. It starts from a place of warmth. It starts from a place of wanting and hoping in something that you're striving for to keep and protect, and to make sure that you do not take it for granted because you know that there is a time limit on whatever that is. That person, place, or thing will not be around forever because you won't be around forever. The things that we cherish, the people that we cherish, the places that we cherish, on the other end, coming towards us, people feel that way about us. If we have unconditional love for people and these people have unconditional love for us, they cherish us because we're not guaranteed to be in their lives either. It's not always about us. It's about other people. It's about that back and forth, that genuine connection through freedom, because we have to be free in order to connect. You can't connect if there's not two things to connect to. So there has to be some freedom there. The important part is that we're not just doing this because it sounds good. I cherish you. That word is thrown around a whole lot. What does it really mean? To hold on to someone that you love unconditionally is cherishing them. When you say you have unconditional love for someone, that is in its essence, in its most basic form, cherishing that person fully, cherishing all of that person. It is saying to that person, you are so essential in my life that I can't imagine you not being in it. But if you weren't in it, trust me, you would have left a mark on me. I will never forget you. And some people do come in our lives in phases. There are people we're in relationships with. They come for that time. They teach us what we need to learn. We teach them what they need to learn, and we move on. Same with jobs, same with houses, cars. There's a lot of things that we cherish that we think are going to be around forever, and they're not. And we end up being okay. In fact, we end up upgrading. We get better. We find a better partner that is more suited, fitted for us and what we want. And the same goes for us for them. We upgrade to a better vehicle. We upgrade to a better job. There's always an upgrade. We're always going to want better. At least that's the goal. Now, that doesn't mean we have to do these things. That's if we want. That is the whole point of having freedom. That's the point of cherishing someone. You have to love someone in a way where they feel free. And that's one of my favorite quotes, by the way. And it's one of the most beautiful quotes because you can cherish someone and hold on to them, but be willing to let them go if need be. And that is what makes cherishing them that much more special, because it's about understanding why we cherish these people. It's not just about the cherishing, it's why. Those whys tells us so much about ourselves, because that means we have a deep connection. And that's one of the most beautiful things about life, is that we can have these unexplainable connections with people we haven't talked to in years. And then you see them again. It's like you never, ever left them because you cherish them. You genuinely care about this person, and this person genuinely cares about you. And in that sense, that relationship is easy. And that's what you're looking for. We're looking for easy connections, not ones that are forced, not ones that are holding on by a thread, not ones that are built on lies and mistrust and not knowing who you are, not being aligned with who you are in your own self and expecting to be aligned with someone else. You cannot be aligned with someone else if you're not aligned with yourself. It starts with us. We are the ones who have to be aligned with ourselves if we want to be aligned with other people who we feel are going to make our lives easier, happier. And we have to do that because they're asking that of us if we want them in our life. We expect them to have their lives aligned and balanced out and know where they're going. And if they don't, at least there has to be some effort there and some course correcting, some good communication, so we can say, yeah, I can see where you're trying to go, and I'll support you in that. That's what cherishing someone is all about. That's what that unconditional love is all about. You allow people to be able to course correct. You allow people to be able to shine one moment and they can be in darkness the next, and they can feel comforted just like a freaking blanket at night when we get in that bed and we're like, oh, this feels so good. It's because we know it's going to be there. It's quite a different day if you don't know if that blanket is going to be there at night to make you comfortable when you get into bed. It's a completely different. Could you imagine going through your whole day? If you every night you go into bed and you're like, oh man, there's my bed. It feels so good. What if somebody told you that bed wasn't going to be there that night? How differently your day would go over something as simple as your bed won't be there. Just think about how silly that is. That we can get to a point where we cherish our beds to a point where it would disrupt our day if someone said the bed wouldn't be there when you got home that night to go to sleep. Something as simple as that. And that's an inanimate object. And there's a lot of times where we cherish those things more than we cherish the people who are actually laying in the bed with us. That is unacceptable. When we start putting inanimate objects above people, because listen to the word again, cherish, to protect and care for someone lovingly. And this is why I say, I believe when we say we're cherishing all things, we can do that, but let's put this in proper perspective here. We should be cherishing our fellow people first, not material objects, not jobs, not labels. Sure, we can throw that word around to it, but really we're just attached to certain things that bring us joy. But those things can be destroyed and we can replace them. A human being, you cannot. So it has a different level, a different ascension as far as importance goes when we start talking about cherishing people over inanimate objects and places. Another way of saying cherish is to keep a hope or ambition in one's mind. Hope and ambition in one's mind is associated with cherishing something. Now, in that sense, we can get a little bit more into the material world because that's something we can start creating and building upon. Again, we're talking about level of importance here, and why cherishing people is what we're going to focus on here. Because ultimately, that is the most important thing. We all want to be cherished, even those who say they don't. Of course we do. That starts from childhood. We all want to feel important, essential in someone's life. How do we do that if we're not going to hold out the hand of that same quality or qualities that we're asking in return? We have to hold our hands out and be able to truly know and have faith in ourselves that we are giving what we're asking. But we can't do that if we're taking people for granted, if we're underestimating them, if we're not communicating with them, if we're misunderstanding them, we're talking down to them, we're having toxic behavior with them, narcissistic behavior with them. I can go on and on and on. We know this, where this path goes. It goes to whoever is doing that sort of thing. That path leads to a dead end, and you're by yourself, and you either turn around and try again, or you can just stand there at the dead end, sit down, and say, I give up. I just want to be alone, which is anyone's right to do. But if you're anything like me and you're listening to this right now, you don't want to be alone. You want to be appreciated because you appreciate others. You want to be loved because you love others. You don't want to be taken for granted because you're not taking for granted other people. You want to put effort in your relationships, so you want some effort thrown back at you. These are all understandable. And if you've worked your way towards this, again, these things are about effort. We have to earn these connections. They're not just given to us because we woke up and we breathe air. We have to wake up every day with some positive mindset going from the jump. I have found through years of not doing that it gets me nowhere. Every single day when I wake up and I focus on positive things, what I'm grateful for, I'll go through that exercise, mind, body, heart, and soul, find my weak points, try to get those things leveled back up, because tomorrow something else is going to drop and I got to level that back up. That never ends. And they can be easily looked at as excuses. But we have to look at the positives here. When you wake up in the morning, the fact that the sun is up means you have already won that day, at least up until that point. But if you can look up at that sun and say, I am up. I got this whole day in front of me. This could be my last day. The person I love, this could be their last day. Unfortunately, my children, my child, my pet, this could be their last day. This could be my last day at work. This could be my last day in my house. This could be my last day getting out of my comfy bed. When you approach the day like that, there's no way you're not grateful for everything that you have. And if it's a struggle at that point, you have to ask yourself some questions. Why are you taking all these things for granted? They're not a right. They're a privilege. And when we start cherishing things, it eliminates all of that entitlement that comes with, well, who cares? I'm supposed to wake up and have the day for me. I'm supposed to have my bed. I'm supposed to have this relationship, that car, my kids. Nothing's going to happen because they're mine. I'm supposed to have them. That's entitlement. You're not supposed to have anything. We have to earn the right to keep these things in our lives. No one is so special where things are just handed to you without any consequence, without any effort. There has to be some effort there. There has to be some reason why you want that thing in your life in the first place. The moment we lose sight of that, the moment positivity goes out of the window and into the window, remember the window with no glass, positivity is going to go fly out the window to some other place and say, listen, you don't want to be positive, now I'll go somewhere else. And negative is going to look in the window and say, you know what, there's a lot of space up in here. I think I'm going to hop on in. And that's going to hop in. And you're going to be hanging out with Mr. Negative or Mrs. Negative while your positive energy is gone and connected with someone else who truly deserves it because they've worked for it and they've earned it. And it's going to be aligned with like a magnet to that person. Positivity and negativity are like magnets. They will attach to you whichever side you want. It will attach to you whenever you're willing for it to do that thing. Because with positive energy, I have realized this over time. When I wake up in the morning, my number one goal is to get a small victory right off the bat. Just making my bed, light on my candle, meditate, get a little exercise in, get some breathing in, mind, body, heart, and soul exercise. Right then, I feel great already. Even if I wake up feeling like crap, I feel at least good, and that's all I need. Get a bottle of water in me. I'm ready to go. The sun's not even up yet. I get up super early. I get up at 3:30 every single morning. And I make sure by the time that sun comes up, as Jocko Willink says, I earn my sunrise every single morning. I love that mindset with him. He earns his sunrise every single morning, and that's what I like to do. I love to earn my sunrise, and I love to earn my sunset. And the only way I can really feel like I can do that is that I have to understand that I don't want to go to bed knowing that I left something on the table. And if I did, I want to figure out and understand why and how I can correct that the next day, at least in small increments. You can't get everything done in a day. True. You can write out a list and not get everything checked off. Correct. But what you can do is intentionally do as much of that stuff as you possibly can in an efficient manner and put some effort into your day. All that is positivity without you even having to think about it. You're earning positivity just by being yourself, just by going out and grabbing every little bit of good things you can pull out of every conversation, every place that you go, everything that you touch. Everything is about what is the reasoning behind why I'm doing this. And if you can't figure that out, if you're doing something and you're saying, I don't know why I'm doing this, then you need to focus on that and figure out, okay, well, is this feeling negative? And if it is, how can I turn this thing into a positive? It doesn't mean I shouldn't be doing this thing, but maybe I should be doing this thing less. Maybe I should be doing this thing tomorrow and something else should be in this spot today. What is priority urgent right now for me that I'm not doing? That's positive, that's on purpose. That's something that I can do every single day and make a ritual and a routine out of it because it serves me. Those are things that we call stacking. You start stacking these things up every day. You have a nice stack of rituals. It takes discipline. It takes time. But you start with one little bit of that puzzle and you just keep working around it until you figure it out. Once you figure that puzzle out, you don't sit back and stare at it and say, I did it. Now what? No, you put it aside and you say, okay, where's the next puzzle? And you just keep building and building and building and building and building. It's just going to create confidence for yourself, just some extra super positivity for yourself. It's going to keep you in the mindset of growth. It's going to keep you in the mindset of gratefulness. It's going to keep you in the mindset of having hope and faith and trust within yourself. It's going to make your connections to people stronger, even if your connection to God, if that's what you believe in. It's going to make your connection to your job better. It's going to make everything clearer because you're getting rid of all the fluff, all the stuff that doesn't serve you, all that negative stuff. Again, the window without glass. You're going to take that negative person and say, listen, you spend enough time here. Get going. I need some room in here to get some positivity back up in here. Negativity is not going to want to go, but it's got to go. And it doesn't matter if the sun's up or the sun's down. What matters is if you're awake and you're walking around and you can make decisions, do it with a smile on your face. I'm literally smiling while I'm doing this podcast. I don't even know why. Probably because podcasting and helping people brings me joy, so I'm smiling while I'm making it. Now, I don't do it all the time. Sometimes these things piss me off because they're a little difficult to make. But I love doing them because they bring me joy and they bring me positivity and they give me a sense of purpose, something to look forward to, and it helps me earn my sunset. And that's what it's all about. It's something that keeps me going every single day, is interacting with people and absorbing that positive energy on their end in their unique way, and me with my unique energy and my positive energy, I try to give it back. And that is powerful, and it makes me cherish every person in my life, especially the people in my life who have been there, and they are so special and sweet and kind, and they understand where I've been, and it makes it easy for me to connect to them because I can give that same thing to them. I can be their rock, I can be their mountain, I can listen and I can learn and I can communicate with them, and through that kind of a union, that type of connection, and that can be anyone. I'm not talking just romantic here. Like always, we're talking about any relationship, family member, co-worker, churchgoer, it doesn't matter. When you have a connection with people who truly understand you and truly cherish you, and there's no malicious behavior behind it. There's no manipulation behind it. There's no narcissistic, toxic bullshit behind it. It makes it worth it. It makes it worth the effort to want to continue that connection, because if anything gets unbalanced, you simply can communicate, you fix it, and you say, you are in no danger of losing me because I love you unconditionally. And it's going to, undoubtedly, if you truly have a kind heart and you truly cherish that person unconditionally, you're going to say the same thing back to them. You're going to feel the same thing back to them. That unconditional love comes through trust. That people won't give up on you when you need them the most, and you're not going to give up on them when they need you the most. Cherishing all is about being grateful. It's about protecting and caring for those that you care for in ways that are unexplainable. About you stepping up and being the person they know you can be, and you stepping up for them because you know that they're worth it. They're worth it because they have a special place in your life and in your purpose. And without them in your life, you just don't see your life the same. And they feel in return the exact same way for you. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. We rise and maintain balance.